I'm sure there's a big part of me that's been involved in competition for so long that's going to miss that. But I think there will be plenty of things to fill that void. And, I suppose you can never say never, but I just don't see it happening. To have beat Toronto, the first fight here in Ontario, I have a gym here. This is a place I've spent a fair amount of time in, and have it sell out the way it did. This is pretty remarkable. From 2,000 seats in the Civic Center in Augusta, Georgia, to this 55,000 people at Ryder Center. Pretty remarkable journey. It's not a function of lack of passion. I think it's rational thinking. I've been doing this a long time. I knew that sooner or later enough was going to be enough, and to be honest, I saw what's been going on this last year with Chuck. And obviously Chuck and I started around the same time, come from the same background. We fought 3 times, and it was real disappointing to see the fans kind of turn on Chuck and hear everybody chattering about whether Chuck should fight again or not. And to see a guy that was the champ for as long as he was the champ, and as special as he is, kind of be in that situation, I thought as an athlete it just kind of sucked, and I didn't really want to be in that spot. And I'm firing on all cylinders. I feel fantastic physically. I have all the desire that anybody. Motivation's never been an issue for me. This is what I love to do. But I don't want to stick around too long and everybody be talking behind my back like that and forcing me to make a decision that I don't really want to make. I want to go out on my terms.
Randy, just off the top of your head, when you think about your career and fighting, what do you think the thing is you'll miss the most about the sport, and what do you think you'll miss the least?
I think obviously the competition. Competing is what I've enjoyed the most about it. To really test yourself, to be out there, to have a full training camp and sharpen particular tools, and then be able to walk out there and test yourself, see how you did. It's the ultimate test. And I'm sure that competition and that test is what I'll miss the most. I probably won't miss this stuff, to be honest. This week, all the media, and I've always embraced it because it's helped the time pass. It's helped the clock move faster, because most of the hard work is done at this point. So we're just kind of keeping the ball rolling, trying to get through this week and get to fight night.
And if you remember back to your very first fight in the UFC, what do you remember about that night? And then when you look at what you're ready to walk into on Saturday, 55,000 fans, all this media, I mean, how much has this changed? It's pretty dramatic.
It's night and day. The first time was overwhelming and full of an interesting combination of fear and adrenaline, walking out in front of those 2,000 people or so in Augusta, and as crazy as they were, it's a whole different deal. I don't think there was a single person in that arena that knew who I was, or anybody else on that card for that matter. They just wanted to see fights, and it didn't matter if it happened inside the cage or they started it outside the cage. So it was a completely different atmosphere, but it's still kind of surreal and overwhelming to walk up in a cage and have someone close that door behind you that first time. And at some point it becomes normal. It becomes home. It becomes where you used to be and where you want to be. And obviously doing it here Saturday in front of 55,000 fans is going to be pretty remarkable.
And I don't know if he's reffing your fight, but I know John McCarthy is going to be reffing here this weekend. Is it kind of funny to see the long journey? I mean, obviously he was one of the mainstays of the early UFCs. You were as well. Is it kind of funny to see that journey kind of come back to this point?
I would guess that John has reffed all but maybe 3 or 4 of my fights. And John's, I think, the best official we've ever had and probably ever will have. He understands the sport from top to bottom. He's been there through every rule change. And I seriously hope that he's the guy that gets assigned in my fight, because I trust him wholeheartedly in his view, and I've been on both sides of it with him. He stopped fights that I was in, and when I was on the right side of that and the wrong side of that. So I trust him implicitly, and it'll be great to see him back in the octagon. But the fans have been fantastic. I think the fans are funny, because for 10 years now they've been going, how much longer can you keep going? When are you going to be done? And then you finally make the decision to be done, and they're like, no, you can't do it, you can't retire. So it's been a funny back and forth battle with the fans, but they've been fantastic and supported me whether I won or lost, and that's been nice.